Hello viewers, welcome to part 2 of this series going down the east coast with a failed transmission. We started off in Arlie Beach in the last episode, went through Long Island and on to Lindeman Island and then to the beautiful Brampton Island West Bay.
Just look up. Wowee. Brampton Island West Bay. Absolute glorious swimming spot here. The coral and whatnot stops out there a bit, and then you just got this beautiful sandy area for swimming.
So from the beautiful Brampton Island West Bay we head towards Seathorpe, just north of Seathorpe, to outer Newry Island to seek shelter and to do some boat work.
This is going to be my dry out area for tomorrow morning, I think. I've got the transmission ready to push back, which I probably will do out on the water. If something goes wrong, I'll just drive the boat in here, and that way I'll only have to bilge the water for a couple of hours. So yeah, it's a good spot, really soft sand. You don't sink too much, but it's got a bit of spring in it. It's a bit softer. No rocks, and it's a good approach, and it's nice and close to where I already am. So, bit of a find. Saw that this morning. So there's the plan. Morning. There's lots going on here at Toucan 2 today. I've just placed the boat up against Newry Island, and you can see the tide started to come out. Got a couple of ropes going each side. That was just to position the boat, and we are already on the boat's already drying out. You can see the bottom. We are on the hard. There was no bumping, which was really good. So now when the tide goes right down and I'm dry, I'll pull the transmission. So I've got a bit of prep work to do. Got the anchor out. When I positioned the anchor this morning, I went and checked the stay anchor, which is out the back, and it was buried nicely, and I checked my forward anchor and it was just sitting on top, not buried very nicely at all. So I had to dive down, turn it around, push it in with my feet, and hopefully it's done its job. It doesn't matter now, but when it all floats again. So yeah, it's going to be an interesting day. I better get into it, and I'll just quickly show you downstairs what I'm doing with the transmission. I've started making the stair repair because I cut the stair out so that you could get the transmission out. So I have to take a couple of screws out. Oh, I'm gone a bit early with the, here we go. So here, that's the prop seal. They're the two surfaces there that leak. That is screwed to there, and that's going to hold the stainless part against the bellows so it can't leak. Now that I'm going to dry it out, it's not going to matter too much, but that's how I'd do it if it was in the water, and I still did it like that even though it's coming out of the water. But the prop shaft has got to go back that way so that I can clear get the transmission out. That's the transmission. 6 bolts up that way, a coupling here, and I've taken this, I've cut that part of the stair. That's a part of my stair repair, so that'll come out, and then the transmission will come out this way. So yeah, that's about it. We'll do a bit more footage later on, so I'll just leave it at that for now, and hopefully everything goes well. See you later. We're well and truly on the dry. I've pulled the prop shaft back, as you can see down. Pull back a bit, and I have got the transmission back. The transmission drive spline is worn terribly, but hasn't failed there. It's failed in the plate that attaches to the flywheel, and so therefore I've got to take that plate out. Where are you? I'm gone. No light in here. So we'll get a bit of light in a minute. How we going now? Oh, here we go. Now I'll get a bit of light happening on the situation. Right, here we go. I don't know, we had locked exposure. I don't know what that means. Anyway, we got the transmission. That's the plate that the transmission bolts onto. That's the bell housing, the back of the engine with the flywheel, and then the part in the middle, the shiny part, is the drive plate with all those bolts holding it on, and it has let go in there. You can see that first inch should have splines, and it's just got nothing. It's just screwed the splines out, but the actual transmission splines wouldn't have helped at all because they're very worn, probably even more worn than my other gearbox. So you have a look at those, see if we can get a decent shot of it. What's that thing do? They're pretty bad. A bit like the other one. So I'm going to have to do something about my trannies at some stage, but at the moment that's going to have to do, and I'll get another one of those plates, put that in, and then I'll go back to Gippsland like that. So it's sort of success story, but it's not, because I still need to overhaul 2 input drives on my transmissions, and I'll pull the right hand engine one too, because I'd say it's buggered too, so I'm probably going to have to do 3. We'll see what happens. Righto, onward. The drive plate, which is that really shiny bit, is here. That's the part that's failed. You can see that first inch has just got nothing, and then there's a spline on the other part of it, and that slides on pretty good. But that's not the bit that we can slide on. That's the bit there that goes in like that, and as you can see, that just, she doesn't want to turn. So I think, I can't believe it didn't make more noise. When it, yeah. Wow. I didn't really run it for very long like that, but so that's turning all the time with the engine. When the engine gets turned on, that just turns. You can't stop that turning. You can't turn it around because you don't get the reach. So that's got to go back in so that I can manoeuvre around without and have pressure on my prop seal. So that's got to go back in, and I've got to tidy up down there, and then I'm going to go out on the hull and scrape the hull while the boat's out of the water. I'm just going to show you that right now. Oh, the tinny's down there. Did I have enough rope? Only just. Nice and hard. I was telling you before how the prop has been pushed back. That's in there. You can see it's been pushed back. It's been pushed back a inch and a half, 2 inches, so that I can get the transmission in and out. I'm going to give all this a scrape. I did the other side underwater, so that's why it looks a bit better. But this side's pretty, you can't get right underneath it, but I'll get all that off. We'll get another half a knot, or a knot. It's cool. She's sitting up. The old girl. A good old girl. She is. She's a good old girl. I don't know whether we should be calling a girl either. Good boat. A good boat. That's not too bad. It's just got a bit of, we've remembered to pull the dagger boards up, so that's good. So a quick little transmission, put that back in, and then clean up upstairs, come down, scrape all that before the tide comes in, and then have a reward. You beauty. I don't know why it's so dark all the time. It's like, there it is again. Why does it do that? I don't know. Still looks dark, doesn't it? I don't know what's going on. Oh well. One day I'll work it out. Right, sure. Back into it.
So how good's that? We've found out what the problem is with my transmission. It's the drive plate and not the transmission input shaft. And so now the plan is to get that drive plate into Seaforth to the post office so I can post it off to a company called Werner Engineering in Mackay. They said send it in and we'll see whether we can make one. So that's what I'm going to do. It's a trip into Seaforth. I'm going to show you a few other parts of Newry Island. There's an old resort over there, and also a funny looking fish trap like enclosure on the other side of outer Newry Island. On the Brampton Island side of Newry Island is this fish trap looking thing, or oyster lease. There's a sign saying oyster lease, but I can't see any oysters. But this little cutout here has square edges and it looks like it's been helped along by man. And up there is a oyster lease sign. Newry Island Resort back in the 60s and 70s. A couple of lessees made an island with a few cabins and a bar, of course. Honeymooners cabin, or what's remained of it. Looking over Newry Passage. It's pretty specky, this area. I went into Victor Creek, which is through there, and it's all through low-lying water with a windy passage going in there with markers. And to the closest town is Seaforth. So we're anchored over there with the 4 other boats. A few palm trees with lots of coconuts. Yeah, it's nice. And it would have been less accessible back in the old days, so people are always looking for a place to go and have a bit of a holiday ever since even the 40s and the 30s, I think, back in Gippsland. This is the bar. And we'll continue around. But you sort of get the idea. Made out of concrete. Probably the sand from the beach. That's what those bricks were made from on that cottage. That was from the sand from the beach. You might go for a bloody bit of a row if you did that these days. Newry Island National Park. Morning. It's a Tuesday morning and we're in Seaforth, coming by Tinny from, that's where we're parked out there, coming with the Tinny to Newry Island
from Newry Island to Seaforth. And now I'm just waiting here for the post office to open so I can send that drive plate away. It's a really beautiful town. And they've just had a bit of an upgrade here with a little water park for the kids. A lot of the houses are that old sort of Queensland holiday house type style, but you can see that it won't take long and this place will be like Mackay's holiday destination.
So yeah, got back to the post office and sent my part away to Werner Engineering. Had a couple of toasties, got a few supplies, and headed back on the little fold-up bike to the pontoon jetty where my tinny's waiting, and motored back out to the boat. It felt good to have all this stuff done. We're on to the next step to try and resolve the transmission problem. So that's worked out really good. And another really interesting thing that happened, I got another solar controller off a fella that was in that anchorage just behind out of Newry Island. But the fella was Dave, and he had a boat called Mojo. He was right onto all that solar stuff, and he happened to have one in his boat, and I gave him a bit of money for it, and we fitted it, and it kept me going. So I thank Dave a lot for that. That was quite unexpected. So anyway, that's the end of this episode. We're heading south, and stay tuned for the solution to my transmission problem and some awesome sailing. See you next time.